I decided to play that song because it was a favorite of mine. John Legend. I ain't heard from him in like a long time. I ain't heard nothing from him. I guess his career is pretty much finished in the music industry. But I played it because I wanted to thank my brother Chris, aka Shabazz Scientific. He's the new music coordinator and adder of the music, the updates on the music for State of Intel Radio. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate that. That's one of his add-ons. I asked him to add it on, but it's fitting tonight because ordinary people, people who are regular, people who seem to be regular, who are walking amongst other ordinary people. However, they are extraordinary. They carry an extraordinary ability that separates them from everyone else. Right? That extraordinary ability is the ability or the capability to think on a higher level, to advance, to receive higher intelligence on an advanced level toward a future level, more advanced than the average person that they're walking amongst. You have you have ordinary people and you have extraordinary people. You have naturals and you have supernaturals. Right? I explained this in the last broadcast about the three types of people that walk in the planet. I know the unnatural, the natural, and the supernatural. Now, what sparked me to do this broadcast is a discussion I had with some young individual on Facebook concerning, it all started over a post I put up about natural hair and how it's not really natural or native to so-called black people. Our hair is supposed to grow actually up in the air. Right? It's not supposed to be twisted down or braided down and things like that. It's supposed to just grow up naturally. I said when it starts to lock like that, that's actually unnatural because, people say that's a natural thing. But when our people say natural, right, true natural people are people who are unkept. That's really what natural is, meaning that you are untouched by soap, untouched by water, untouched by combs, untouched by anything, untouched by razors, so you let hair grow all over your face. That's natural. Animals are natural. They vibrate on a natural order. You never see animals washing themselves. You might see a cat lick itself and bathe itself, but animals don't wash themselves. They just pretty much come about. They, from creation, they live, they lifespan, have sex, have children, reproduce, and that's it. Anything else in between is considered, natural. They're just living their natural life. So now when you start talking about you're a natural person, right, but you're doing things that are unnatural, or should I say supernatural, right, like grooming yourself, like trimming your hair, like letting like untangling your hair, washing your body, wearing deodorant, caring for your personal hygiene. That's considered to be supernatural. You have some backwards natural people who will say that's unnatural. No, that's actually supernatural because natural and unnatural go hand in hand, like happiness and sadness, good and evil. It goes hand in hand, right? But supernatural, advanced nature is based on higher intelligence because it takes a person of a higher level of intelligence to know that you have to groom yourself, you have to clean yourself. That's not something that's known by nature. That's something that has to be taught, and that's something that has to be instilled, and somebody has to say to themselves, well, you know what? I do see the intelligence in cleaning myself, grooming myself, and keeping myself clean. This is one of the reasons why in the State of Intel I had the brothers clean their faces off. Because though it is natural, it has become natural, though it's not really natural, it has become natural for us growing hair on our face, but it was unnatural because we mixed in our bloodline with other people, or other races of people on the planet who were native to growing hair on their face and didn't groom themselves. We mixed in our bloodline because it was a time, like I said, when we didn't grow hair on our face, we had to start grooming ourselves again, cleaning the hair off of our face because it's not of a supernatural state to grow hair all over your face. That would be considered natural and border between the lines of natural and unnatural, or natural, meaning not to clean no hair on your face, don't groom, don't trim your beard up or nothing like that if you got hair all over your face. Let the hair grow all into your mouth, all wild on your face, don't get a shape up, because that would be considered supernatural. only an advanced or an intelligent person would know that, what, hey, I got to clean myself up. I got to not let my hair tangle. I got to not let hair grow into my mouth. Matter of fact, I got to know, I got to make a note to myself not to let hair grow all over my damn face. Because think about that. We got hair growing all over our face. Hair belongs on your head, not on your face. Unfortunately, the Europeans, and their business acumen and how they're carrying themselves. Notice the businessmen, the high-powered businessmen and things like that out in the world today, they don't have any hair on their face. See, when you see a man wearing a suit, three-piece or whatever, or a regular suit, no hair on his face, you think immediately business. When you see a man with hair all over his face and a suit, you don't think business. You see all the high-powered men, like I said, into the 20th century, they cleaned their face off. That was more of a 20th century thing. Prior to that time, when you saw the millionaires and the billionaires like the Rockefellers and all them, they had hair on their face until they came into the 20th century. And a lot of them came into the so-called Masonic orders, and they saw the gods like Amun and all of them, and the Egyptians and all of them, and they saw that the Egyptians, who, as they came into the Masonic lodge, didn't have any hair on their face. And they acknowledged them as the first royal people, the first real government, the first real empires. You understand? They acknowledged those people, black people, men who didn't grow hair on their faces, the first supernaturals, the first God beings on the planet. And ever since that time they found out about these people, they've been trying to emulate them, right, as supernatural beings. This is what your secret society, Illuminati, and them are striving to become, supernatural beings. They make shows like Supernatural, right, and they show you two white guys, right, and they tell you supernatural is all kinds of strange apparitions and ghosts and all kind of madness and scary garbage, right? Or, the black man, he accepts the idea that supernatural is somebody who's running some high, fast, running, high jumping, flying person doing things like that. That's not what supernatural is, because you got birds that fly through the air. You got gorillas that are stronger than humans. Are they more advanced than humans, or are they not as advanced? What separates the two? Intelligence separates the two, right? Intelligence, the ability to receive higher intelligence, and who governs on the planet Earth versus those who do not. The gorillas and things like that, they're not on that level mentally as man, but they're stronger. So do you consider those to be supernatural beings because they're stronger than man, much stronger? Do you consider bears and things like that, animals who have superhuman strength or above human strength, to be more on a supernatural level or on a higher advanced level than humans because they have that strength? Do you consider birds that can fly through the air to be on a higher level than man? Of course not. Of course not. They are natural beings. They're considered to be on that line of natural beings or natural animals and things they're doing in nature. What separates those people who are natural or calling themselves natural from those who are supernatural is intelligence, advancement in intelligence. Yes, we ride on the same lines of, people and whatnot. We all look the same and whatnot. We carry certain things, but there's a difference in the natural and the supernatural. Like, as I said before, one will continue in intelligence. The other will not. One will burn out. One will continue. Like I said, you have a conductor, you have a generator, and you have a superconductor or a super generator, because one is going to stop at a certain point and burn out, and the one's going to continue going. You understand? You make one that is continuous. And those people who are continuous, just as you have those super generators, you have those superconductors, you have a supernatural race of people walking the planet today who are coming out from amongst the natural people. They are being extended mentally. No, they're not going to fly through the air like this simple-minded Negro that I was having a conversation with kept saying about, oh, well, you talk about supernatural, intellectual Nuben Menkariju. I heard your show a few times, and you talk about supernatural and things like that, but all I hear is talk. I ain't seen nothing, nobody do no supernatural stuff. Yeah, I ain't seen that. Well, I never met you before, number one, right? and you listen to my broadcast, yet you say what I teach is BS, but you listen to quite a few of them, all right? Just because you were too simple-minded to understand what was being said, that proves that you're of the natural people. You're not of the supernatural, because the supernatural people carry a certain frequency, and they can only hear and access and logically put in place what they're hearing. They are listening to me. The problem was you were just hearing me. They are listening, which means they are able to hear the words, listen to them, pay attention to them, ferret them out, logically understand or have an understanding of what's being said, and they can orderly place that in a procession of thought that will carry their actions further. You, on the other hand, the majority of people who listen, they will listen to what I say and don't understand a damn thing I said. You listen to the same thing, you get it, but they don't. Why is that? Why do you get it and they don't? Both probably born in the same, both so-called black people born in America, things like that. What made you get it and what made them not get it? What is going to be the difference between those people who advance in intelligence versus those people who are not? I'm going to give you an example of human mentality, because black people, as I said, black people, you do have black people who are part of the human race. Unfortunately, you do have black people who are part of the human animal trait through the Africans, right? Superman. I'm gonna give you an example in Superman. If you notice, if any of you know the story of Superman, when he came to Earth, right? He had all of this superpower, right? And, things like that. And, he, had strength and he could fly and do all of this stuff, right? Now, they say he drew his energy from the sun. Yet, when Superman was on when they were on, they showed when his parents was on their planet where they came from, their native land or their native planet, they didn't have any power. They were just intelligent people, walking around, highly intelligent race of advanced people on their planet. They couldn't, if you notice, they wasn't flying on their planet. They wasn't doing all that stuff, right? They didn't do any of that stuff. They were just highly intelligent people. But when they came into the Earth's atmosphere, or when Superman and those beings came into the Earth's atmosphere, then they had that power. Why did they have that power? Because they understood that they had to protect themselves from the barbaric humans. So they were given that power to protect themselves, to coat themselves, or to guard themselves against the humans, because the humans saw physical strength, right, as being supernatural. But those advanced beings, who they call Kryptonians, they saw intelligence as supernatural power. See the difference? And that's the mentality of most of your black people. That's the mentality of the young man who was asking me that question today about why I don't see y'all flying through the air and doing some supernatural stuff. You have the mentality of a human, of a European, of the human animal, which is basically your human race. You look at things that animals can do, bears, gorillas, birds flying through the air. The things that you would consider to be supernatural is not supernatural at all. These are native, natural capabilities to animals. Why do you see animals and their capabilities, their physical capabilities, as being supernatural or being highly advanced? It's because you think on an animal level. You think physical strength and being big and throwing people around and picking up stuff, that means that you're supernatural. You had a bunch of dinosaurs that walked the planet, right, who had all this power and stuff like they was on the earth. But my question is, who's more powerful? The being that created these animals, or these beings with the beings that created these animals with all this strength and power, or the animals themselves with the strength and power? The beings that have the power to kill these animals at will, or the animals who got the power? Right? Intelligence. That is supernatural capability. The ability to access higher intelligence. All that physical stuff comes later, as you have an understanding of why you're going to receive these capabilities. Certain ones of my people who are listening to this broadcast, they understand that certain things are starting to happen to you already. You're speeding up mentally. Your telepathy is starting to open up. Minds is opening up like crazy. You know, certain things you're starting to envision and see. Certain thoughts are being read by other people who are in tune with you. So it's starting, right? You know, Europeans, they tell you all the time that, you know, from the time they came out of caves to where there was a jump start in their evolution here on Earth in order to put them in place to be leaders of tomorrow, because these Amen beings of this future race, these Omni beings who created everything, knew there would come a time where your black race would burn out. They knew there would come a time. They saw all this laid out already where your black race would burn out, and they raised the humans, the Europeans, up to take control. And they also saw that time would come where they would burn out. Understand? So, as seeing all these things laid out in time frames in different what's the word I want to use? In different the word escapes my mind right now. Seeing these things laid out in different dimensions. I'm sorry. Seeing these time frames in the past and the present, everything was basically laid out in time. They already knew that our people would basically run out of mental power, and that a frequency would not be connected to them for thousands of years. And they would have to start up a new people or generate the intelligence of a new people. Your human race, your artificial beings, they would have to generate or speed up their intelligence for them to take control and keep order on the planet. And that's what happened. And your highly intelligent or your highly intelligent human beings, your Europeans and your scientists and things, your European scientists, they know that someone interfered in their evolution. A supernatural force of intelligence or higher intelligence interfered in their evolution. Something that intelligence, that intelligent life force that was sent to them to open, enlarge their brains, to move them forward, to receive, to be able to receive reception, to follow orders. They call it natural selection, right? They tell you it's the natural selection of the human race, where you have certain people, your Cro-Magnon man, and all these different levels of human who in the evolution, which was being engineered by the God race of these Amen beings. They tell you that there was a natural selection. However, they don't tell you who was doing the selecting. That's the problem. They don't tell you that it was people making the selection, cutting people off, discontinuing bloodlines, and doing all this. They was doing that. They know that it was a God race doing that. Certain races died out, and they continued, and they started up a new race of people. They tell you that all the time. This was all based on intelligence. No, intelligence is a supernatural ability. We've already talked in great detail about it, and I'm going to go even further tonight. I am the intellectual ᴞᴜ ᴇᴜᴜᴜ, and this is State of Mental Radio, and tonight, the supernatural beings who are evolving from the natural. This is real. Why do you think on a certain level where others don't? Why are your thoughts continuous? Because you're going to continue into a higher form and a higher genetic. We're going through an evolution. As I tried to explain to this gentleman, because, like I said, we just started up the engine. We just realizing that we're not even black or part of the human race. That was just something that came out in the last year or so that I've been teaching. So everything is supposed to pop overnight, and next thing you know, we flying through the air, and we picking up elephants and throwing cars down the street. But that's the mind of a nigga. I'm going to say it just like it is. That's the mind of a simple-minded nigga who can use all kinds of intelligent big words or so-called educated big words and things like that, but you don't understand that everything happens in stages. You grow up from a child, from a baby to a young child to a grown man to an old man. That happens in stages, just as your intelligence or lack of it or what you're going to receive happens in stages. You grow into things. There was a level system that was put in place. There was a time frame system put in place. But, to a simple-minded person, they want to ignore the time frames and dimensions that are put here to house order. Everything advances or evolves in an order. No, it's not the people who sit up here and think, like I said, throwing things through the air and flying. Like I said, you got the mentality of an animal because you admire animals. You know, your Europeans used to do the same thing. They would look at animals and see the strength of animals and see the strength and see birds flying, and they would think that that was to be considered supernatural, or that was considered to be mighty. That's not mighty. Like I said, if animals can do it, how mighty is it? How strong is it? You understand that? So in the Superman story, when I brought it up, you see the logic in that they sent a child here. The writers must have had something on the cap when they did that. You know, you got some intelligent people out here of all races. You got intelligent people on certain levels. The writers who wrote Superman must have had some saw that logic there, and I picked it up. Why didn't he have power on his own planet? Or why didn't the people on his planet, why wasn't they flying around doing all this stuff? Why were they just walking around regular on their planet? Yet when he came here, he had all this power because they knew the mentality of humans. In order to put him, leave him alone or put him on that level of supreme being, they had to advance his strength and his power to things that humans saw to be or looked at to be supernatural or different, or to place him on a pedestal. And that's what was done because you humans are simple-minded. They sit up here and they look, like I said, they look at guys walking around with big bulk and muscle and whatnot, you know, and that's supposed to be a Superman. Or guys all bulked up and all big, and they look at that as being supernatural or something, or a Superman or some super defined man. But if you notice, even in the character of Superman, he didn't have any muscles. He didn't have any muscles. He wasn't all bulky. He wasn't all big. He was slim, tall, lean guy. Yet had all these powers, right? To protect him from humans who look at and prey on weakness, physical weakness. So you would have to advance somebody walking around here with a physical strength, right? To differentiate and to distance you. That's part of advanced intelligence too. Because obviously those people who have that strength and power into the future have discovered something in the future to make them that way. So that's all based in intelligence. The ability to receive on a higher level is, or what places you in that supernatural election. You have a human selection, a human natural selection, and you have a supernatural selection. Those who will be separated out by bloodline to continue. Those who will not. Those who will die out. Those who will continue. And from the looks of the black race and the hearing of their logic and how they comprehend things, or their inability to comprehend things, a lot of the so-called black race is going to die out. You are the next order. You are the next generation. You are a generation next because you're comprehending on a higher level. You're comprehending on a higher level. You're not sitting around here still talking about religion, those of you who are coming and listening to this message. You're not sitting around here talking about Islam, Christianity, Judaism. That is the mindset of slow people. You're not sitting around here talking about metaphysics and all these other things and going in a rotation because, you know, as this person was trying to call himself explaining something to me, he couldn't explain one thing to me. I asked him, do you consider yourself to be like every other black person? And he couldn't. I said, just answer me. Give me a simple answer to that question. And you know he couldn't give me a simple answer. I said, just a simple. I don't want to hear any abstract answer. I don't want to hear any roundabout answer. Give me a simple answer. I said, because it's only simple-minded people who cannot answer a simple question. I asked him, do you consider yourself to be like every other black person? Because based on his answer, that would have been the end of his whole argument right there. And he didn't give me a straight answer. He just started trying to insult me and stuff like that because people want to make, because of their lack of understanding or their ignorance, their inability to understand something, they will try to make it like it's wrong or that you're trying to play people or that you're trying to manipulate people's minds and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I unfriended the guy, of course. You got plenty of them people. They're driven by anger. They're driven by because nobody really cares what they're talking about. Nobody is interested in anything they're talking about because they're not talking about nothing really when you get down to it. They can't do anything to advance our people, nor do they actually think that any advancement is coming mentally. They think it's just going to happen out of the clear blue sky. Somebody selects, or should I say someone elects people to bring in higher intelligence to produce a supernatural race, right? People who are operating on a whole different level. When you say supernatural, it's talking about people who are operating on a higher level mentally than those who are moving on a natural level. It's like two trains running side by side on a track, but at a certain time they split off, or they come in at it close to each other and they split off, and one goes one way or one goes the other. One stops and one continues. One continues in intelligence. They produce advanced people. You're going to look at the black race like the white man amongst the bright race. You're going to look at the black race like the white man looked at the Cro-Magnon man. That's how you're going to look back at the black race. Your children should be looking at, your great-great-grandchildren should be looking at people like Flavor Flav in a museum. They should be looking at people like Flavor Flav in a damn museum, or Nicki Minaj or Rick Ross in a museum, and say, did these people really walk the earth, granddad? That's what they should be saying. They look like animals. Why do they look like that? Your children should be saying things like that. Did these people, y'all really listen? These people really made what was called music? That's how your great-grandchildren are supposed to be talking. There was a group of people called the black race? Really? That's how your children are going to be talking. You had people walking around banging their head on the ground and calling it Islam? What sense does that make and what were they praying to, granddad? What were they? Your granddaughter, she's a doctor at 7 years old, right? 6 years old. She's gonna be like, they were really praying to into the clouds somewhere, banging their head on the floor and getting black marks on their heads. They really were walking around wearing beads, and I don't understand that. And all you can do is go, that's what they did back then. That's what they did back then. This is what you want to produce. This is what's going to be produced. To the people, unfortunately, if you got people still in this day and time following religions and things like that, that's your people of nature. Human nature dictates that your human race are slow in their evolution. So someone has to step in and speed it up. Who steps in? You religious people say God. Okay. We in the Amun race say a higher race of intelligent beings who are known as God, right? The true creators, the true people who were sending intelligence into this atmosphere to bring about a supernatural race, a superconductor. You understand? Hitler used to say, he used to call his people the super race or the master race, right? Well, they couldn't have been, because they pretty much a lot of them has died out, right? They wanted to be that. They knew that it was possible. Somebody put that idea in his head to know that there is, or there would be, a master race on the planet, a super race. Then they produced this guy to run really fast, and when then comes some nigga from down south, some black man from down south, Jesse Owens, and he outrun this Superman. So that was a sign about something, who your people are, just in the physical realm already, as opposed to the humans. Just in the physical realm, that's a sign of who your people are. Fast running, high jumping, yeah. That's a small degree. But that's not really what dictates supernatural intelligence or supernatural beings. Because the supernatural beings, the God race of the people that created this thing, were highly intelligent, because it had to take intelligence to put everything in order. People who think in an orderly fashion, an advanced fashion, a logical order, are supernatural people. They have not ignited their total intelligence yet, because they're growing into it. Those of you who I refer to as the bright race, you are igniting your intelligence. Your intelligence is igniting. Your procession is starting to is beginning. It's no boom and that's it. That's not how it works. For people who say something as dumb as that proves that you think on a human level. You think on a religious level. What does religion teach? Religion teaches that there's power and that's it. And, like the whole idea of this nonsense of God created the earth in 7 days. That's the mentality of somebody who would say, why y'all ain't got no supernatural powers? Why y'all, show me something supernatural? We are showing you based on our intelligence. What we're starting to perceive, what we're starting to receive. We are showing you. You're seeing it every day. The fact that you can't even understand it. That dictates that you're not on that supernatural level of thought. You're not on that level. That there's a separation taking place right now from the natural to the supernatural, or as I refer to the black race to the bright race. That is the separation that's taking place right now. You understand that? The ability to receive higher intelligence is a supernatural capability. I'm going to say it again. The ability to receive a higher mental capability or higher intelligence is a supernatural capability to be able to understand or have an ultra-standing of what you're hearing or what you're listening to. You understand? Versus those who cannot. If you're standing side by side with a gorilla and you're giving information, I'm talking to you and the gorilla, and the gorilla is sitting there ready to destroy something. He don't understand what's being said and whatnot. He hear you talking, but you standing next to the gorilla, you actually listening to me and you understand what's being said, but the gorilla don't understand nothing. He just hear you talking. That is going to become the same example of the black race to the bright race. The black race will become the gorillas, and the bright race will be the people or the advanced people that'll be listening and hearing and understanding what's being heard. And your black race, when they hear the knowledge of intellect, they're gonna be just like that gorilla. They're gonna hear the sounds. Some of them gonna get mad. Some of them gonna get disinterested. Some of them gonna get turned off because they're on that same natural way of thinking as the animals. They're on that same natural way of thinking. You got certain people who say they natural. The real natural people are your people that walk around and they let their hair lock up. They got the nappy, knotty dreads and whatnot. They don't really wash themselves. You know what I mean? They wipe off so they ain't smelling too funky. Some of them don't even wash at all. They don't wear deodorant. They don't bathe. These are your natural. They get white towels and wipe between their private parts and wipe between their ass and things like that, and they keep it moving. They don't use no soap. They call that being natural. Your Africans call that being natural. They funky as hell. They don't wear no deodorant. A lot of you black men and black women, y'all think y'all African, and you got the African mentality because the Africans, they got that natural mentality like animals. Your Europeans got the same thing. They walk around funky too. They walk around don't wash themselves, no deodorant, things like that. Dirt, they don't wash. They have these people. They don't brush their teeth. They let all kind of grime and grit get on their teeth. So that is a level to be able to do that. To know that, hey, it's not, it's natural is not what it's cracked up to be. Natural is just basically on the same level as your animals. The ability to clean myself, brush my teeth, understand that if I don't do, I'm going to get plaque on my teeth. Understand that my vagina is not self-cleaning for you so-called natural systems don't douche. You understand? That is a supernatural thought or capability to access that intelligence, to know to clean your ass, to wash your hair, to unlock your hair, let your hair grow out natural the way it's supposed to be, to keep it trimmed up, keep it trimmed down, whatever you got to do to groom yourself. That is a supernatural capability above the natural, advanced in intelligence, advanced in thinking. But like I said, your Europeans and your Africans, they wasn't on that mentality. Your early Europeans, they didn't clean themselves. They thought it was okay to smell funky. Your Africans, a lot of them still feel that way. A lot of them still feel that way. A lot of your people on the planet feel like that. They're not really fans of soap and water. Even Europeans, when you see them taking showers, they don't even use soap. They don't use a washcloth. A lot of them, they'll put the soap under their arms and run the water. That's not cleaning yourself. A lot of them don't use washcloths. And this is not a slap at any racial thing, because like I said, the black race, they do the same thing. You know? That's why they say, if you notice, in the society, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Why do they say that? Why do they say cleanliness is next to godliness? Because God is supernatural. And God washes his ass. God cleans his ass. Because the whole idea of you even knowing that I should clean myself, I should wash myself, comes from a supreme race of people who do that. So if you're not doing that, if you're not cleaning yourself, if you're not taking care of your hair, trimming your hair up, and you're saying, well, I'm just letting it get like this and it's going to naturally lock up because that's natural, then you playing games. You picking and choosing what you want to be natural and unnatural. Because, like I said, you leaving your hair. If you say in one breath that leaving my hair alone and letting it lock up is natural, you know, then so is not washing yourself or letting boogers grow in your nose or not clipping your nails or letting hair grow all over your face. That's natural too. That's natural too. Where do we go? Where do we stop at? Because it's all about leaving your hair alone, letting it lock up naturally, right? Ain't that what it's about? See, because naturally your hair breaks off. Our hair is supposed to break off at a certain point, and it does. That's dead hair. When the hair is breaking off, that's dead hair. It's supposed to be trimmed off. It's not supposed to be let to lock up. You know, do we have to go through grooming 101 and hygiene 101? Look at the word hygiene. Higher genetic. Hygiene, higher genetic. I gave that breakdown. All these words have a reason for being pronounced the way they're pronounced. It's not man that's coming up with these words. These are words that are going through man to give a signal to these people who are on an advanced level mentally to receive that, so that we can have an understanding of what's being said here. See, because man is dense. He's ignorant. And you have certain people who are going to vibrate on a higher mental frequency who are going to be able to understand the words that are being said that are coming through man to advance to a higher level. Cleanliness is next to godliness. The ability to want to clean yourself, wash yourself, wipe yourself, trim your hair down, and keep yourself up is a supernatural ability. To receive that reception of that mindset is a supernatural ability. To have an understanding of who you truly are by way of intelligence is a supernatural capability. Not picking up some damn tree and throwing it across the jungle. Not flying through the air like a damn bird. Those are all animal capabilities. Let's keep it 100% real. Those are all animal capabilities. What separates you from the animals? Your intelligence. You understand that? Your intelligence. That's what separates you from the animals. But you got these simple-minded people out here who think that being like an animal is power. Acting like an animal is power. You understand that? Who has the power? Who has the real power? The gorilla who could pound a man's head off and break his neck and kill him. Does he have the power, or does the man who thinks up a weapon to kill that goddamn gorilla have the power? So he ain't got to worry about that in one shot. Who has the power? That man has the power. He has the power of intelligence to beat that gorilla all the time, because all that gorilla is working with is natural strength. What's natural to him, what's natural to his nature. That's what he's working with. He's not working with intelligence, which is beyond man. Those men who are unable to receive it. You understand that? I said the strongest weapon that any man or any woman has is your mind and your ability to receive higher intelligence, your ability to think, not panic, not react, but to act. That is a supernatural capability. But like I said, when you got some simple-minded people sitting up here letting people who are off mentally, your subhumans or your human animals, they're going to dictate what strength is. Of course, they're going to dictate strength as being that of, or a supernatural capability, of a higher capability is being that of animals, because they animals too. They feel cheated because they don't have that animal capability, because they're animals too. They feel they deserve that power too as animals. Your humans are animals. So they're going to look at other animals in the human family, because, like I said, they're going to look at other animals in the human and the animal family and the animal genetics who have that power over them, and they're going to get jealous. They're going to get angry. They're going to be like, I wish I had that power. I wish I had the power of a gorilla. I wish I had the strength of a ram. I wish I could fly in the air like a bird. They're gonna say stuff like that. They're not gonna. Too many people are gonna say, "Oh, I wish I had the intelligence of the gods." You know, they're not gonna say that. They're not gonna say that because they don't think on that level. Right? They don't think on that level. So, like I said, when they see movies like Superman, they see comic books. A lot of these young kids, they live in comic books. They think that's real power. That's not. That power is given by those beings, or like I said, those beings who possess it, to protect them from humans. You understand? Who vibrate on that frequency, who see that as being supernatural, advanced. Because if a human being sees a person who could do those things, they'll leave that person alone. Look at the symbolism of the so-called Jesus story. Because I'm going to do a story on the symbolism, real symbolism of it. Jesus did all this stuff. He walked on water, according to the story. He turned water into wine and all this other stuff. He did all these so-called miracles because it was meant to blow people away. You understand? To make him stand out as special. However, that was all of that, which you think was miracles and power and stuff like that, that's all based in intelligence. These are people who have knowledge of certain things, future knowledge, people who are advanced in their mental capability to receive this higher intelligence. This is them being able to access that intelligence to bring into the present. So to you, it looks like something that's supernatural, just super power and all this other stuff when it's really not. Or what the Israelites call, what do they call it? Spiritual powers. Yeah, we're going to get spiritual powers like the Incredible Hulk. I actually heard them say that one time. Grown men. We're gonna be like superheroes in the comic books. Grown men. We're gonna get when Yahweh Shah come back and give us our spiritual power. You know, we can come back and we get our spiritual power. We're gonna be like the X-Men. Wow, did you niggas just say that? Grown ass men. Now I'm not saying that these capabilities aren't real. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But they're based on a higher intelligence, and certain people are going to access those capabilities down the line. You grow into those things. You're still children growing. You have not fully grown into what you're supposed to be. Now, your humans, they're fully grown into what they're meant to be. That's why they're going to go back into a loop, into a circle again, and they're going to start doing the same things over and over again. Your so-called black race, they've pretty much outgrown into what they're going to become. They're not going to go any further in their intelligence. That's why they're going to say things like this. They're not going to be able to have an understanding of why, there's a supernatural race that's going to evolve out of a natural race. They don't understand when I talk about the bright race evolving out of the black race, that's what I mean. People who are receiving higher intelligence, people who have went through a supernatural election as opposed to their natural selection. You understand? Those Amen beings, that God race, those Omni beings, those future beings who built this thing and created the order of the planets in rotation and things like that, the Omni beings that did this, or what I refer to as the Amen beings, those immortals that did this, those continuous beings, they're opening the door for those people who are been chosen to receive this intelligence to become supernatural beings. They're opening the door for this bloodline and this genetic. And we are gradually walking through it. Pay no attention to these simple-minded Negroes who say, well, let me see you fly through the air if you were supernatural. Pay no attention to them. They still in religion. They think everything is boom, pow, pop, boom, pop. They still believe that nonsense story about God creating the earth in 7 days. But here's the question. If God could pop things into existence, why did it take 7 days, according to the story? Why couldn't he just say, boom, why did it take days? Because everything, what they're trying to show you in the symbolism of that story is that everything goes by an growth or an order. You understand? Everything grows by an order. Everything, you grow into things. You don't just boom, pop. There's a reason why you have to learn how to do these things. Because power in the hands of anybody, especially black people, that'll be catastrophic. That'll be catastrophic. You understand? Power in the hands of people, especially black people, will be catastrophic. If you woke up tomorrow and your children could fly and they have all this strength and all these things they do, these natural capabilities. Do you know what they would do? Do you know how much havoc they would wreak on the planet? That's why we don't have these capabilities. You have to grow into them, and it has to be given to people who understand or have a higher ability to comprehend why you have these things. Same thing like when you was a child. You had to understand why you wipe yourself after you go to the bathroom. You had to understand why you have to drink a certain amount of water, eat a certain level of food. You had to be explained things. You had to learn things before you were able to be responsible. And a lot of our people haven't learned. That's why they're walking around here irresponsible. They haven't learned. So you imagine our people with power, or what the Israelites call spiritual power. You understand? Mental capability. We understand and learning that the best way to receive power is through the mind. The best way to receive power is through the mind. Now, your people who are moving on a natural procession, people who are not that much different than the animals, they look at power as coming through a physical as a physical thing coming, physical strength, because they got the minds of animals. But if you're on that level of God, if you're above the submental, you understand? If you're beyond the mind of a beast, then you understand that all true direction, all true intelligence, all supernatural capabilities comes through the mind, through reception. You receive these things gradually. You're being put in a school. Someone is going to receive this higher intelligence, and he's going to share it with you. You understand? It's always going to be one that's going to receive it, and he's going to share for the evolution of a people. The rest of the people are not going to get it. You understand? Because they got the mentality of mankind. You understand that? They got the mentality of your Africans. You know, they, like I said, and this is not meant to insult anybody. This is reality. So, like I said, supernatural capability comes through intelligence. Over time, you're growing into things. You're growing into capabilities. This guy says to me also, he tells me, oh, well, I just hear you talking and this, that, and the third. You know, show me something. I just hear you talking. Well, like I said, how that just show you, again, we're on Facebook. How else am I going to show? How, even if I could fly through there, how could I show you? I'm on computer talking to you. If I could access certain things and whatnot and show you a physical thing, because that's what you want to see, because your mind vibrates on the physical realm and you don't understand mental capability, right? How can I show you that if we're typing on the keyboard? How do I do that? I asked him the thing about the animals. He couldn't even understand that. You want me to have the power of animals for you to look at me as supreme or supernatural. I have to have the power of animals. Remember that movie with Rob Schneider, The Animal? That showed you right there the mentality of a lot of your European scientists. Crossbreeding a human, which is an animal anyway, with more animal genetics. So he could run fast and do all this stuff. He was even trying to have sex with another animal in there. They tried to play it up. You understand? They tried to play it up. But he was doing all these things in the movie. They crossbred his genetics with other animals because they find things like that to be able to run like a, a ram and all this other stuff, all the things they crossbred them with. They find that to be supreme, right? But like I said, in one good swoop, somebody can think of something. Somebody can receive an intelligence, a message that can end life as you know it on the planet. One person. One person can receive that intelligence. One person can receive intelligence to advance the intelligence of other people to move them forward. One person can receive a word, a message to move a people forward. Just one person. And those people who are going to be receptive to it, these are the people of tomorrow. You understand? Not the people of yesterday. See, because the majority, your black race, they're people of yesterday. Your natural people, they're people of yesterday. Look at the movie The X-Men. I just use all these movies as an example. When they said that they wanted to get rid of the humans and they wanted the neutron bomb to go up because that's going to kill off the humans and it's going to make them stronger. right? See, you see the theme of the European movies and whatnot. It's always been about natural selection and breeding and bringing about a new race and a master race and a new people, a new era of people. So that vibration, that way of thinking, is heavy on the planet. So if it's heavy on the planet, that means that it's a reality. That idea didn't just pop into the minds of men. Somebody placed it there. That idea vibrates through this planet of a God race, of a master race of people. Everybody trying to claim it, though. You know, your Israelites, your Jews, everybody's trying to claim it. Your so-called satanic groups, your Luciferians, everybody's trying to claim that master race thing. Everybody's trying to claim it. But it's not any of them. It's not any of them. It's the people, like I said, who will come out of the natural. They will come out of the natural state, and they will receive that reception to move them forward. Same way mankind received that transmission to move him forward, to take him out of the caves, to move him into airplanes and going into space travel. He had to receive some kind of help. That was a supernatural transmission above the natural. You understand? Above the submental. So if you share even a piece of that reception, if you get a piece of that, that puts you in another realm. See, your elite or your elect, they want to be constantly receiving that. But mankind has finished his reception already. Mankind has finished his reception on earth. Or should I say it's slowing down? It's slowing down, so they have to go back in a rotation, back to the way things were, because their reception is starting to slow down. What they're receiving in way of intelligence is starting to slow down. And a new reception is kicking in. They're at beyond natural selection. There is no more reception or new reception coming for your human race. There's no more reception coming for them. There will be a supernatural election, like that was talked about in the again to the Book of Revelation, where it talked about the elect. That was a supernatural election. You understand? That was a supernatural election, meaning that a race of supreme beings beyond the natural beings that are moving on the planet selected, or elected, I should say, or chose a race of people to advance them above the natural race, above the black race. A people that will come out of the ashes, because to them, these race of people serve no more purpose. People moving in a rotation, people were saying things or thinking on a submental level serve no purpose and cannot be made supreme beings, cannot be made supernatural beings. That has to be sped up in a people. Continuation is supernatural. Your bloodline, many of you have the genetic marker in your bloodlines to continue. Many of you have the genetic bloodline or the genetic marker in your bloodline that will continue. You don't have the same bloodline as those in the black race. You don't have the same bloodline as those in the black race. I'm going to say it again. You do not have the same bloodline as those in the black race. You have a bright genetic. What is the bright genetic? That which gives you the ability to receive higher thought. That which gives you the ability to have an understanding of my words versus those who do not. You understand? To where they think, oh, we got some secret cult or some society going here. No, that's not what it is. It's not what it is. To us, this is regular. We just ordinary people amongst ourselves. That's why I started with that song. But to others, we will appear as extraordinary. And amongst the ordinary we are, but amongst ourselves we ordinary. Same thing goes right back to the Superman story. Amongst they people, they were highly intelligent. They was ordinary people. But then when they left from out their realm and they came amongst the people who were on the submental state, people on a lower mental capabilities, they became superhuman. They became supernaturals. You understand? It was no big deal to them. Right? Your humans are in a fragile state. Your human beings are in a fragile state. There is a new race coming from amongst the black race. I said it all the time. Your bright race, your solar intelligent beings, your beings who will receive whole pictures that will move on a fourth dimensional and a fifth dimensional picture. You understand? These people already exist. You are the parents of these people. Right? I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to play something from a group called Panacea, Fragile State. This is dedicated to the black race who is in a fragile state. We'll be right back. You know, each person, you know, there's a reason why he talked about 144,000. Those were the raising of the supernaturals from amongst the regular people, the naturals. Right? Those were your super receivers. That's why they said that they would have the mark of God in their forehead. They would be super receivers. Your supernaturals are super receivers. Right? They're not going to be on that level of reception like your natural people, your regular people. They're going to be on a higher level of receiving, on a whole different other level, a whole different other state. Their mind, their reception is going to be advanced. Right? And like I said, that number is like an inlay into something. It's an inlay. It's like you have certain families in your so-called Illuminati, right? You have certain families and members who are supposed to be of your elect. Your 144,000, certain people who carry new names, certain bloodlines that are supposed to be there versus those who are not. You understand? Certain bloodlines will be there, certain bloodlines are not supposed to be there. Most of the people not hearing this intelligence, they're not supposed to, and they're not able to comprehend it or receive it. They're not supposed to be there. They are of your Africans. You see, a lot of your Africans, they have a natural body odor, like animals, right? They have their hair really curls up into a zero ether. There's no real 9 ether. They have a 0 ether, right? And then you have a 1 ether. Those of you who carry a wavy texture to your hair, a lot of y'all carry a 1 ether, right? They carry a 0 ether because they're locked into this realm on the planet. They were created here, so they carry a 0 ether. Your humans, they carry a straight or that no ether, right? Dead, falling down because they were of the unnaturals who were created here. Right? They carry a dead ether. Right? Your Africans carry a 0 ether, and you actually carry a 1 ether. Right? That's the majority of our people. Right? We were separated as a supernatural people when the Africans were put in the jungle and we were put in the East. We were put in the East to build governments and societies in Egypt and Sumeria and Mesopotamia. What was the difference between us and them? Our intelligence was sped up over the Africans. Right? Our intelligence was sped up over the Africans who were living in grass huts and things like that, and we were separated from them. And we were on a state or a stage of becoming supernatural beings because we were receiving intelligence and reception that was more advanced than anyone else on the planet. Then, when we allowed ourselves to go into the submental, what did we do? We ran back amongst the naturals, the Africans, the people who were not of us. We started eating strange diets. We started eating slow land animals, pigs, cows, boars, right? Lamb. We started going into the beliefs of man. We became submentals, so we became natural. We became native to these people's customs. And we severed our supernatural connection, or our Amen or Omni connection, with that we had in the East. So what happened? We had to come to the land where we were supposed to live out that supernatural manifestation here in America, where we were actually supposed to start the next government, the next kingdom on earth. Now interlopers came in, and they started it for us, and they became powerful in our place. they became semi-supernatural beings. And you see them as supernatural beings. That's how they're able to put a Superman in their image, right? They're able to tell lies now, put the Egyptians in their image, and project themselves on earth as supernatural people when they are actually unnatural people. They're able to project themselves in your image and after your likeness now. Take your place because you became children of nature. You became like animals. You became like dumb animals amongst the black race. The whole point of the black race being here was to breed the bright race, that you can grow amongst the black race. It was all meant to be an evolution. The whole point of producing a natural people is to give a supernatural people time to evolve into supernatural beings. Because it's like having a good battery, a battery next to a supercharger. You let that battery burn out, and then you give that other battery time to charge up as that other battery is running and burning out. So we were evolving or developing mentally amongst the black race. We were seeing as bright people what not to do, what to do. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, his perception was shaped by seeing many black people hung in his day and time. Now he was meant to see black people being hung in that day and time and being a sacrifice for his evolution to produce a nation of Islam to be chosen. Now I know a lot of people say, well, Master Fard Muhammad, he's the one that produced the nation. He started the nation of Islam. He put Elijah in his place. No, they were all part of a big election. You know that? Fard was given a message to raise Elijah Muhammad, who was actually of the God bloodline. Fard wasn't of the God bloodline. Elijah was. The whole object was to get him to start the raising of a supernatural race of beings. Your FOI and your MGT, they were picking up where your Egyptians or your so-called Kemites and them left off at, because that was the path of raising supernatural beings. That was the path. We have a bloodline, the path laid out. He was the first one to pick up the evolution and start the ball rolling forward. Though he used Islam because Islam was closer to the Eastern teaching and the knowledge of Amun, closer than Christianity. In the Israelite school, Islam was closer to it because who was over there in ancient Egypt and Nubia and things like that? But your Arabs who were teaching Islam. So it would make sense for us to get back to our natural way of life, our supernatural way of life, I should say, which is mentellect. It would be only right for us to go through Islam because the Muslims were all over where our land and our kingdoms used to be. They're there today. It was only right. So we're moving forward. The evolution is continuing. Right? But in that continuing evolution, we're moving forward as a supernatural people who are above the natural state. We are advancing in higher intelligence. We are able to perceive things on a higher level. We are able to think on a higher level versus those whose brains are starting to burn out. When you sit by your friend and you say, well, damn, man, this is all simple. Why you don't get this? They're not meant to get it. It's not for them. They're not meant to get it. It's not for them. They're not of the elect. Their bloodline was not chosen. Their bloodline was not elected. They're not of the supernatural election. They're of the natural selection. And the natural selection is burning out right now. Don't think everybody's going to get this. And you should be happy in this day and time. If even in your book of Revelation it said about 144,000, 12 by 12 by 12 by 12 by 12, 12 times 12. 1 and 2 is 3, right? That means a people who are raised mentally mentally to the highest on the third dimension. That's really what that means. That's why the number 12 times 12 equals 144. And then when you go to 144, you get the number 9, which is the highest number before the repeating of the numerical system. You go from 1 to 9, right? Then you go 10, 11, 12. That's the repeating. But the highest number in the number system is 9 as a single number, right? You look at all the knowledge that was brought. That tells you the line of supernatural evolution. You look at Elijah, who talked about 360 degrees. 3 and 6 is 9. You look at Dr. York, who talked about 720 degrees. 7 and 2 is 9. You look at me now, who's talking about the 144,144. 1, 4, 4, and 1 equals 9. So it is a continuous 9, the highest. And that 12 represents people in the so-called tribes of the 12 so-called tribes of the children, not Israel, but the children of Israel, the offspring, the next generation, the bright race out of the black. Those people will be a people who will be raised up on the highest level in the third dimension, which is where we're at now. That's why their number is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. All right? You are that people. You are that people. You are that people before you start receiving intelligence on a higher level, till you go into the fourth dimension. And everything that you're going to learn, everything that you're going to receive will not mirror anything else that was here. No one will be able to say, oh, that's not new under the sun, because y'all already seeing what I'm teaching is not. Y'all have not heard of it. It's new. But the people who want to sit up here and say, oh, it's not new, but then they can't tell you where it came from. They ain't heard it but from me. Obviously, that is a supernatural capability to access intelligence that is not here. It has to come from someplace. Don't come from me. It comes through me. Because if it came from me, that means I had to go someplace and read in the book. And I don't read books. The ability to access advanced intelligence, to bring about technology and higher ideas, is a supernatural connection. That means you had a connection with something that was supernatural, above the natural, above the terrain, above this world, beyond this world. That's the connection you should be trying to form now as an advanced race, as an advanced being. Right? Those who consider themselves to be really in tune or so-called, quote-unquote, spiritual, because a lot of you people are linking yourselves. When you talk about your ancestors, you linking yourself to disembodied mental energies or disembodied souls who are still trapped here in those states. The true beings, when you're talking about the spirits, those disembodied souls, those people who got caught in those different dimensions and time frames that you're trying to link back to, they're keeping you caught in that time frame. You're getting locked in like them. When you sitting around here talking about the ancestors and whatnot, you're getting locked in time like them. So you can advance to that state of that supernatural because you stay caught in this natural terrain. You're caught on this level. Erykah Badu, she talked about, I think she was part of a company called Earth Tone, right? Her record company, or Earthbound or Earth Tone, one of those, right? And a lot of your so-called natural people, right? The people that's of the land, a lot of you natural sisters, you run after the Africans, right? The funky ones, right? Or the dreads with the guys, the long hair, the non, what do you call them? The non, the non society ones, or what do you call them guys? The non-conformists. Y'all, you so-called natural sisters, you love to run after those guys. The guys that live off the land, he don't comb his hair, or you get an African because that's natural to you. Because what appeals to you is that animal magnetism, that low nature, or that natural state. These people are not supernatural beings. These people are people of the land, terrestrials. They don't have a celestial mindset, nor are they connected to anything out there. This message of Mentellect is connected to people who are out there because it is coming from people who are out there sending messages into this atmosphere. And only an elect few will pick it up. They are being opened up, or they're going through a school of that knowledge known as Mentellect, speeding up the evolution of a people. Not a lot of our people, like I said, our people are not going to, the majority of your so-called black people are not going to get this. This is a test of their intelligence right now. Their intelligence is being tested right now, at this moment. Their intelligence is being tested by their level of understanding, right? Or their inability to understand. The people who can't follow this simple logic, common logic, which is common amongst us, because as time goes on, this will be simple. It'll be simple to us, though it'll be mind-blowing, but it'll be simple to us because we understand it. We have an understanding of it, a complete comprehension. And we're not going to, you have the phony people come in and they're using words like understanding, and they trying to be hip and they trying to be deep. They're using words like, I understand you, brother, and yeah, brother, I overstand you and all that. Nigga, no, you don't. No, you don't, nigger. You don't understand nothing. You just trying to sound heavy and deep, and you think there's some new word game we playing here. So that no new goddamn word game. You understand? This is higher intelligence coming in now. This is not a game. You always expose yourselves. You always show your ignorance. This is not the new popular club. This is not the Mickey Mouse Club. You don't get a pair of ears with this. You don't get a pen, or you don't get to say, yeah, I listen, I'm one of the bright ones. No, you're not. You understand? This is an elect club. Like how the Europeans, when they have their golf clubs and they let certain people in. That's how the state of mental is going to be. You ain't getting in here just because you black and because you think you're going to speak a few hip words and you down. No, you're not down. The hell you talking about? This is an elect group of people, chosen. You understand that? This is chosen. No niggas allowed. Our decision making and the board of directors on the state of mental and whatnot, they decide on people that come in. Our restriction policies is higher than any white racist club. When we say no niggas allowed, we really mean that. Because we have to boost this frequency and this higher intelligence. And the people, and our people. We have to find those people who fit into that space. Because each family, each person's name is supposed to be inlaid and enjeweled like a stone to pick up something, to pick up a reception, a higher reception. You understand? So they're being elected right now. You understand? They're being chosen right now. You can't choose yourself. You understand? You might desire to be here. You desire to be here from the time you was ejaculated into your mother from your father. But for this new birth, you have to be elected. This is real. You understand that? We don't want no people here who trying to be hip and down and cool. You understand? We want people who have an ultra standing. There's only one word of comprehension in the state of mental, and that's ultra standing. Ain't no inner standing, no overstanding. You go back to Dr. York and them with that. You understand? You go over there with them with that. Don't try to make this compatible with that. Dr. York came, he taught a level of knowledge. You understand? This is something different. No disparaging remarks against Dr. York, but this is something different. This is not compatible with your black hip talk. This is not compatible with your conscious talk. This is not compatible with your Nawapu or your Egyptology talk. This is not compatible with your black nationalism talk. That's all of nature. This is celestial intelligence. This is the knowledge of intellect. Those are my people who have an ultra standing of that. Let me hear you. You will hear me in this day and time. You will be of the evolution in this day and time. Don't come to us talking to us about some weird nonsense and things like that that don't have nothing to do with the evolution of our people. We don't care about your personal things here. We don't care about your personal dreams. We don't care about your personal nonsense. Nobody cares. If it's not about the evolution of the people collectively, then we don't want to hear it. Your personal experience is just that, your personal experience. If it's not about the evolution of the people, then we're not interested. If it's not about driving you closer, this is not X-Files or UFO X-Files here. We don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear it. Flying saucers and experiences and shaggies and animals and dead end. We don't want to hear that garbage. Or whatever mind-altering drug you niggas been using out here. Or smoking or drinking, whatever you've been doing. Grays and all that nonsense. That era is over. This is about the evolution of a new people. I'm going to take a call. 423, you on the air.
Hey, yo, man, I just read into what you just said, but I just, sometimes we have to share our experiences so that others may pick up on their vibrations, and then they can go more in detail what the Amen being or race are trying to, send out to people, And this is going to be quick. I have to share this, man, because it was an experience. It was an experience that was shared in my neighborhood. Okay, I'm living in this place. I'm like up on the tower, balcony. So I look down, and what do I see? I see a dog, and it's a dog. Listen, it's an experience. It's something that I need to share. And it was somebody dressed up in one of them little dog, like costumes, like a mascot. So I said, this is interesting. So I'm going to go outside and see what's up. So I went outside, and it's a church that came in my neighborhood and set up a little tent. They was barbecuing hot dogs. Listen to what I'm saying. Barbecuing hot dogs. And they was feeding hot dogs to the little children in my hood where I live. And everybody was running over getting the hot dogs. So I went over, and I seen the people, and it was a white church out of Mississippi. They had grouped up with a church here in Tennessee. So I pulled the white girl to the side. And I was like, well, what are the hot dogs made out of? And one of the guys that was actually cooking the hot dogs, he said, made out of pork. Okay, so once I found that out, then the girl started talking, come to find out she don't even eat pork. So I'm like, well, why would you post up in this hood, set up and feed these people hot dogs, something you don't even eat? Why would you even do that? Why would you give somebody something you don't eat? She, started trying to explain, saying this was the heart. Okay, so I'm like, the heart? Well, your heart will deceive you. And we had got into it and started talking about those Mayans. And when the white man came over, the Mayans, and the Mayans actually thought that the white man was their gods. So they actually got to see. She was like, yeah, they didn't even know when their own demise would be, initiated. I said, what do you think about yourself? You coming over here bringing something to a group of people and to young people. I said, you know what? I said, this day going to go down in history. What did I say that for? As soon as I walked away, picked up my little niece, went to the apartment, and came back out, there was 2 fire trucks there and an ambulance truck. So I'm like, okay, all this is going on. You got 2 fire trucks, an ambulance truck. You got some white people out here in the name of God. God spelled backwards is dog, feeding people with pork. Come to find out, the little boy had got stuck up in the tree. He was stuck up in the tree until he was screaming and hollering. It's like the tree had grabbed him, didn't want to let him go. So 2 fire trucks came and an ambulance, and they had to pry one of the limbs from the main trunk of the tree, had to pry it open a little bit to lay him down. The story was that when I was looking outside, or intellect, or what I got out of it was that I seen a dog walking and it was somebody dressed up as a dog. And all this happened. They were like, well, why is the little boy, how did he get stuck up in the tree? Had some dude with that food he was eating. He thought he was a little cat. Come and find out, the little boy that got stuck up in the tree belonged to the lady that had all the cats. Black girl, stay around the corner. She got about 5 or 6 cats. A little boy ate all the hot dogs. Thought he was a cat, got stuck up in the tree. Took 2 fire trucks and an ambulance to get him down. That was a story. That happened about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, but what does this have to do?
It got to do with like what you're speaking of. When you start talking, when you tell people, you know, they speaking of eating pork, you know, animals acting like an animal. You eating that type of meat, you know what I'm saying, and you don't know what that meat, what it's made out of. And you feed it to these little kids, they get to going crazy. You know, that's
I didn't say anything, but I didn't say anything about that. I didn't say anything about feeding anybody no pork or anything. I didn't say anything about that.
No, what I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying, my brother. I'm not trying to call in and take over your show. I'm just trying to tell you this is the awareness that we see. This is the awareness that we see that's being fed to our people. You got groups of people coming in and feeding your people. Where they feeding your people? They feeding your people junk. Just like they up in these schools, they teach them junk. When they begin to teach them junk, they begin to go away from the natural and act like an animal. So the very same stuff that you're teaching about your group is being played out in folks' neighborhoods. That's the only reason why I share the story. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks, bro. All right. Okay, closer. Go, pal. Yeah, to the last brother, I didn't mean to come off short if I was coming off short at you. For time's sake, I want to get the message out, and I really need messages that are clear and cut. I mean, people, they have their own interpretations and dreams and things like that. And I'm not knocking you, brother, for interpretation of the dreams you have. And, those are your personal experiences. And we don't mind you sharing. This is our broadcast, like I said. I didn't mean to seem like as though I was being short with you, but, for time's sake, you got to break your dreams down more. Go into it, break it down more. Be brief with it. Not everything like people. We in an age where people want you to get to the point of how this is going to help our people and receiving things. People want you to be focused on that. So, like I said, if I came off short to you, brother, I apologize. The 25th of this month, Supermen, Superwomen Project, 1368 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York, on Fulton Street between Brooklyn and New York Avenue. Starts at 3 o'clock on the first floor. All right? The Supermen, Superwomen Project. We've been posting up on Facebook. If you're in the New York City area, come on out. Be amongst the Bright family. I'll be teaching, as I always do, monthly class and whatnot. So, we here. Supernatural reception, as I was saying, is being picked up by a chosen few. This is not something you can buy yourself into. Either you are connected, either you are meant to receive this or you're not. This is not something you can lie about being a part of. Either you can receive because you'll be able to hear certain things on a certain level, or you won't. It's like I said, it's not slick talk. It's not, somebody just trying to be down, or people trying to fit in, and people trying to sound hip and cool. It's not about that. It's not about people throwing rocks and boulders around across the side of a room or picking up a car. Even though you do have people, we do have that strength in us. When that adrenaline begins to pump, that adrenaline rush. And you've heard stories about people picking up cars off of children and things like that. That is a part of us. But the thing is that has to be triggered. Just like all forms of intelligence have to be triggered. What was the trigger that was triggering this supernatural evolution in the so-called black race, or within, or amongst the so-called black race? What would that trigger? All of the experiences we went through, all of the people who eventually got tired of bumping into walls and hearing the same thing over and over again. That was meant to produce a dissatisfied people. Right? It was meant to produce a dissatisfied people. And if you produce a dissatisfied people, they will naturally look to satisfy themselves, satisfy their curiosity, satisfy the question they have in their mind of why we keep running into these walls, why we keep running into these barriers. They were looking to satisfy something in themselves, which is why they are listening to and accepting this message right now of evolution and the knowledge of the intelligence of intellect, which is the future intelligence and the evolution of a new race. They are accepting this intelligence as the one and only evolution to our people. Because where else is evolution going to come? Where else is the upliftment of our people going to come from? It's not going to come from any of the things that are here right now. Those are natural processions that are dying out. Those are natural processions of a limited form of evolution that are dying out right now. You know, so we can't get. In other words, we can't get anything from these other things, from these things we had here previously. We can't get anything from religion. We can't get anything from Islam, Christianity, Judaism, metaphysics, Masonry, Moorish science. We can't get anything from those. They've already outlived their usefulness. These things have already ran its course. We can't keep repeating these things. So like I said, either you're going to produce an insane people that are going to keep running these rotations, and eventually you're going to produce a sane people, a people who are on a higher level, who are going to say, the hell with this, and they're going to start receiving higher intelligence. That's what it was meant to do. It's going to produce a people who are tired of complaining about tyranny and the white man and all this other stuff and constantly hearing this complaint. When they look at our people, the so-called black race, who is not doing a damn thing. It's going to make them kick into supernatural drive or in supernatural overdrive forward. It's going to make them it's going to force them out of the black race because they're going to be tired. You understand? It's going to force them out, and that was meant to happen. You understand? All this was laid out already. Everything that's being done was meant to happen the way it's happening. ᴞᴏᴜᴜᴜᴜ was meant to be produced based on or come at a time in the evolution and the history of our people moving forward to be that one who alters the evolution in our people. Just as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was meant to come, just as Malachi York was meant to come, ᴞᴏᴜᴜᴜᴜ was meant to come in this time, in the year 1970 and whatnot, and alter the evolution of an elect few, a chosen race, to cause or bring about a separation, a supernatural election, aside or separate from the natural selection. You understand? Because it was someone who led the natural selection as well. A man came and led the natural selection. There had to be a man to come and say, you know what, we're doing things wrong. We have to do things this way. Just as it always starts with a man. You understand? Amen. Amen. It always starts with a man. One man who leads a race of many, who advances based on the message that he gets. He leads or advances or furthers the intelligence of the many, those who are chosen. They're already chosen already. Those of you who are meant to become or grow into supernaturals, you already have the mark of Amen in you. You already have the mark of Amen in you. Just as those who are meant not to advance, your naturals and your unnaturals, they have the mark of the beast. And what is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is the human mark. When they talk about the mark of the beast is the human. Your human animal. So some of you have the mark of the beast, the human animal, and the rest of you have the mark of God, which is Amen. The Amen beings, the celestial beings. The mark of the beast are those who are marked down here on earth, your terrestrial people, those who came from here, down here, who were made down here on this earth, on this level, versus those who came from the bloodline and genetic of a celestial race, who are growing into that race. Again, starting with the intelligence level, the upliftment. A lot of our people are not going to get this. They're not meant to. I have to keep repeating this over and over again because a lot of people sit up here and say, "Oh, well, brother, why, it should be more brothers and sisters here." Yeah, in time it will, but it'll be the right brothers and sisters. It ain't gonna be no niggas up in here sitting here just, yeah, brother Hotep, and we ain't talking about no Hotep. Yeah, brother, I hear you, Ashe, Black Power. We ain't talking about that. Yeah, brother, Salam Alaikum. No, we're not talking about that. Did you not hear what we said? All that's dead. If you bringing that in here, then like I said, you in the wrong place. This ain't for you. Yeah, brother, Black Power. We're not doing no Black Power thing here. We're doing mind power here. We're doing bright power here. We're not doing no Black Power here. We're not Salam Alaikum. We're not Asheing. We're not Hoteping. We not Shangoing and Shashan and O'Sheaing and whatever the hell you guys say. We're not doing that. You understand? That's not where we at. We moved on. What part don't y'all get? We moved on. We are advancing in our intelligence, and we're going to gather more people. The people that are going to come to us, the people who have the mark. That mark is their signal. That mark is meant to pick up that frequency in them that come to this. The people who are of the future race of people, they will attract to this, and those who are not will repel. We've already seen that already. I'm seeing a lot of people come amongst us, say they with us, and then they repel. Because once they see what this is, they see how mental this is. Meaning how heavy and continuous and deep the message is. They're going to leave because they're simple-minded. All they interested in is Ashe, Hotep, Barack Obama's the president, 9 to 5, Moorish, we sovereign, that lie, and all this other nonsense. That's all they can do. These niggas are like a broken record. You know what I mean? They like an ignorant, broken record over and over and over again. You understand? And they just don't get it. I mean, if I didn't get something, I would just stop listening. I would just tune out. That'd be like, this ain't for me. And like I said, a lot of our people already proved this ain't for them. You're of this world. You're of the terrestrial beings. You are of the natural race. And I agree with you, natural people. You are of the natural race. You are Africans. You are Hotep and Ashe, and that's who y'all are. You are Salam Alaikum. You are whatever the Israelites say. Y'all, that's who y'all are. Don't try to be here. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm into you spiritual people. You spiritual. You into spooks and spirits. You into special rituals. That's who you are. But those of you who are on a higher level, who have an understanding of what's being said here, where this mentality is starting to split, it has been splitting from the time it hit the planet through me. Those of you who are of this frequency, those of you who are receiving this message, you're not of the black race. You're not of the Asheas and the Hotepas. You're not of these people. You understand that? You are of the bright race officially, especially now in 2013. Well, this is for the people who are the supernaturals, the super receivers, the people who are going to receive on a higher level. That's who this is for. This is what it's always been about. It's not about a bunch of people who trying to assimilate and trying to fit in and trying to, sound heavy and deep and who could sound the best. Like I said, this ain't no fad thing. This ain't no popularity contest. This ain't no goddamn social club. You understand? This is not a social club. So, with that being said, I'm going to read off everything. Go through my points because we got about 10 minutes left. So, let me do my thing. Like I said, brother, I ain't mean to offend you if you thought I was trying to, usher you out with your dream and things like that. You're free to come in and do your dreams. That's fine. I know it's just part of your experience. What is a true supernatural being? A true supernatural being is one who receives higher intelligence on an advanced level, one who is not of this terrain, one who is not thinking on this level above human frequency, above the submental state, which is what all humans vibrate on, even you naturals and you unnaturals. The supernatural is like the superconductor or the receiver who keeps continuously receiving higher intelligence into the future. You understand that? That's what that is. That's what a true supernatural is. Not somebody that's flying through the air or pushing a boulder up a damn hill or some nonsense. You know, or some buff gorilla looking nigga that's walking around here looking like Mighty Joe Young with a big fist and whatnot. That's not no supernatural. That's just some monkey nigga. Some big monkey nigga who can get destroyed at any time. Because like I said, somebody come with a bigger gun and whatnot, or just think of something, he gone. He's out of here. So all that buffness and all that tough talking, that beating on your chest and things like that, doesn't mean really much anything. You know? How do they evolve from the natural race? They evolve as a natural, as being part of a supernatural election. They are chosen in bloodline based on who will continue, based on who have genetic flaws, based on who don't have genetic flaws. You understand? They are selected already. The 144,000 are already selected, or should I say elected already. They're already chosen. You understand? You can't join this club if either you are of the chosen or you're not. This is not a club you can join. When I put this message out to the people go, "Oh, well, brother, what you trying to do? You trying to get followers?" No, I'm not trying to get followers. The followers of the students are not of me; they're of the almond beings. You understand? I'm just an instrument. The followers are already there. I'm just putting the message out as a frequency or as like a signal to zoom in and zero in on those people who have the mark already, the genetic mark, the mental mark of the supernaturals or the almond beings. They're going to evolve naturally out of, or should I say supernaturally, out of the natural race by their intelligence. What's the difference between the natural and the supernatural? One is a continuing form of higher intelligence. One is not. One stops, one continues. The naturals only go to a certain level, you know, that moves in a cycle. That's why they always say there's nothing new under the sun, because their knowledge works in a rotation. But the supernaturals know that there's knowledge beyond the sun. And they're going to receive that, and they are starting to receive that in this day and time right now. What is natural selection? Natural selection is what the almond beings did, or the God race did, in selecting certain humans to move forward, even though it was in a limited evolution, right? And as they selected them in each dimension or time frame to move forward, they had made a plan in their genetic marker to discontinue them at a certain point. So there was only a selection for a certain amount of time, right, for them to continue to breed what is known now as a supernatural race that's coming up, the bright race amongst the black race. What is the supernatural election? A chosen bloodline of people who will come from amongst the black race. You understand? As the bright race. They will come from amongst the human race. Right? They were never really of the human race in the first place. They were moving about in the human race, but they were not a part of it. When do these elections start? When do the elections start? They started actually in the year 2000, but it was always coursing through the bloodline of these people. But the elections actually started in 2000, the new millennium, where it talked about the end of the world, because the end of the world is a signal for the beginning of a new world. All right? When did these selections start? The selection started with the birth of the human race. That's about as far back as the selection started. Though we've been going through elections, even in our bloodline, going back to the Egyptians and all that, those were elections too. But the supernatural election, the higher form of it, where there's a big jump, is going to start here. It started actually in the year 2000, right, and took height in 2003. Right, 3 years into the new millennium. All right. When did is a supernatural being one with superhuman strength? No, it is not. A supernatural being is one with higher intelligence, advanced intelligence, beyond human intelligence, advanced intelligence, beyond the submental. That is a supernatural being. You receive or you understand nature, or that which works in the cycle, by being outside the cycle to see it. You don't understand nature being in the cycle. You understand it being outside of it. That's why I understand it. I ultrastand it. Right? Superhuman strength that's animals, monkeys, gorillas, birds. Bears. That's superhuman strength, right? Because they're superhumans. Really, to be honest with you, they are of the human creation. The human is nothing but an animal, and the animal is nothing but a human. It's the same thing. The beings that have superhuman creation are your animals, your animated beings, and they were given that strength by the almond beings to have that. They were dictated to have that strength. Their physical strength was magnified, all right, purposely for protection. All right. What does this mean to the race of supernaturals coming into the future? All right. This means a mental evolution, right, above and beyond those people or those beings who move in a natural procession. Right? That's what that represents. So, we come to the end of our broadcast. Join us Monday. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I had an idea. I might do the super mental versus the emotional people. What we're supposed to be moving on as mentalists. We're supposed to be super mental and not sentimental and not emotional. We're going to talk about that. All right? Got to be quick, 757. Got to be quick. 757. We got a few minutes left. Got to be quick. Hello? 757. Okay. Hello? 757. Got to be quick.
Yeah.
We're at the end. Hello? Okay, we got to go. All right. Let me play a song out of here because we got 3 minutes to go. I like to close out with a song. I don't like to close doing a whole lot of talking and whatnot. I like to close out with a song. That's my exit sound. As I said, November 25th, Supermen, Superwomen Project. All right. And that's it. Let me see. I want to play Star. Hold on. Let me see. Find Star. Okay. Let me see. I want to play Star. All right. I got another 50 seconds and whatnot. So I can't. I'm not even going to take the person's call because, okay, it's still dope by Star. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night. People, please call when in the beginning or in the middle of the broadcast, not toward the end. We go from 9 to 11. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can do.